Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I am so excited. You know when DK Bananza comes out? It comes out tonight, 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time. At the time of this recording, we are a mere 8.5 hours away from release. I probably won't play it tonight, is the thing. I'll tell myself I'll just play for like a half hour, and then I'll end up staying up super duper late and blasting my eyes with light and sleeping terribly, and then I'll have a hard time tomorrow. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna do the responsible thing and wait until tomorrow. But you know what I'm gonna do right now, in this moment, right here? I'm going to be even more excited than ever because the review scores, the review embargo lifted. So any publications who got early copies, their reviews are now out. We are getting an idea of what people think about the game, and you know what? Overall, on the whole, the response to the game has been very, very positive. Like, for starters, okay, so yeah, just like overall on the positive side. So, you know, that's already pretty good. I'm sure there will be people and there will be some publications somewhere for whom the game did not really do it for them. But like for the most part, out of all the reviews we have here, basically everyone is saying it's great. You know, like 80s and up is pretty much like the standard. So that's already good. You know, it's already good that just like all in all, it is an enjoyable game that most people will enjoy on some level. And you know, that is usually the case with first-party Nintendo games. They are generally very good games and people do generally enjoy them. Ooh, but every once in a while, a game comes along that really resonates, and you get a lot of, like, really particularly high scores. And, I mean, yeah, you know, we're not getting 10s across the board or anything, but there's some 10s. There are some 10s. There really are, even in this finicky, fickle industry, where sometimes it can be very difficult for even a very good game to get a perfect score. Because, you know, a perfect score, like that's, I mean, is that, I guess I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that, like, that means the game is absolutely perfect. No game is absolutely perfect. But I do think it makes sense to have it be kind of rare, and they are usually kind of rare. And yet, we got some perfect scores here. We got some perfect 10s. IGN gave the game a 10 out of 10. They call it Nintendo's first Switch 2 masterpiece. And then similarly, Siliconera, they also gave it a 10 out of 10. Not even a 5 out of 5, no, a 10 out of 10. And that's even more impressive when you have a website like IGN that works in, you know, single decimal points. It's essentially a 100-point scale. So yeah, giving it a 10. That's a big thing. And I know the whole entire conversation is like, whatever. I know the entire idea of review scores. It doesn't really mean anything ultimately. It's just that, well, you know, it means something to you when it means something to you. And so this is a game I'm really looking forward to, and it looks really good. So it just feels nice to know that there are people who think it's really, really, really good. And yeah, like a lot of reviews that aren't even necessarily 10s, but they're very, very close. Nintendo Life gave it a 9 out of 10, which is very close to a 10. And the thing about this game is that, I mean, it's slightly disappointing, but then it's also kind of nice in its own way. But it does seem that the game has some performance issues. Digital Foundry, they did their like technical breakdown of it. And I don't know if the version of the game that they played is going to be the same as the day one patch version that we're all going to play. Technically, Nintendo could iron out some technical issues before launch. I don't really know, but it does seem to be that, like, yeah, there are some performance issues. The game is not always like a super duper high resolution or, you know, not very high above 1080p. Mainly the frame rate, you know, there are times when it dips. It seems that, I mean, it actually sounds like it might be kind of worse than the early previews made it sound. They're saying that there are even some boss battles where it's like 30 FPS the entire time for like the whole battle. So it's not even a dip. It's like, so I don't know. They're not. It's not game breaking, you know, it's certainly not a situation where the system is like struggling super hard to run the game and it's like super compromised or whatever. Obviously this will be a whole discussion later. We'll have time to talk about this in the full review and all that stuff. The point is though, even if the performance issues don't like break the game or anything, you can't deny that could be seen as a mark against it. And, you know, even on like Nintendo Life, their little breakdown, you know, they have all the pros and cons, and the only con is the performance issues. And that's not even to say that that's why it's a 9 out of 10 necessarily. It's not like that, you know, each con subtracts 1 from the score. That's not how it works. But the point is, you have all of these scores, and a lot of them are like near perfect scores. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we had more perfect scores if the game didn't have performance issues, if that wasn't like really the only thing bringing down the experience. I mean, you get a couple people here and there saying that like the destruction elements might get like a little bit repetitive or something, but for the most part it seems like performance is the only real mark against the game. And so yeah, again, on the one hand, that it's a little bit disappointing that this game, like, oh, it could have been even better. It could have been perfect. Could have had 10s across the board. Oh, but this thing is bringing it down. But then on the other hand, I'm looking at these scores and they're already making me that excited. I'm losing my mind here. But then the idea that like, oh, the game is even better than the scores indicate if you can overlook the performance issue, because that's kind of like tampering the scores very slightly. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know. Really, the point is, I'm just so excited. It's just I don't know. The reviews coming in are very, very positive. And like this kind of game, it's just, the standard is so high. You know, Nintendo sets the bar so high, especially with like, you know, Mario. They're 3D Mario games. Like they're some of their absolute biggest games. Odyssey was such a huge success. And so like, this game is getting that full treatment. This is essentially our 3D Mario for this like chunk of the generation. This is one of Nintendo's absolute top most important games. They put so much work into it. The bar is so high. And so to see that DK has easily reached that bar, maybe even past the bar, that's just very exciting, you know? It really does seem to be one of those games that just has so much going for it, you know, just has so much in terms of content and gameplay variety. It's got like a really strong central hook. It's everything. It sounds like it's just the complete package, really not lacking in any area except maybe the performance. It really is one of those system-defining games, you know, especially releasing right here basically at the start of the generation. Like, I have no doubt that DK Bananza is gonna be that one of those Switch 2 games, one of those very, very small handful of games. You know, you look back at Switch 1 and it's like, it's Mario Odyssey, it's Breath of the Wild, it's Animal Crossing. And especially considering how Mario Kart World shaped up, you know, like I'm still hoping that Nintendo updates the game over time. But obviously, like, the reception has been, it's been divisive. It's rather divisive. Plenty of people are feeling a little bit let down by it. So Switch 2 needed this, you know, like it really needed just a home run, a game that basically everyone can agree is really great. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just blabbing about it now. I'm just really excited. It feels really good to be really, really excited, and it feels really good to know that people like the game. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play it. So yeah, IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, and I know review scores don't matter, but I'm choosing to believe that they matter for this instance because it makes me feel good.